Hello shepherds, welcome to the flock. Today the sausage factory are grounded. Mr. Pig broke out of the pasture repeatedly in an area where our goats had previously broken the fence. If any of you raised piggies or knew someone who handled pigs, you know how dicey it can be. I know my piggies look real sweet, and they are, but even with the nicest pigs, it's important to take care. So I finally have them contained, and Miss Piggy, the love-struck sweetie she is, gets super stressed when they're apart. So until I secure the fence line, these little porkers have moved in with the chickens. I had put up a small solar-powered hotline in the area, but it gets so dark here during the winter, it just doesn't keep its charge. And I need to do something more permanent. Also, another downside I've noticed with our solar charger is that the wild bunnies like to chew on that line too. I think the bunny folks call it spicy chew toys. The sheep are such a breeze to fence compared to pigs, goats, or even chickens. As the snow blankets the land, the piggies tend to chill in their hut, roll out of bed, eat, drink, and poopy like not too far from their house, then hop back into bed. So even though they lost some acreage, I'm sure they'll enjoy their winter cottage. Then come spring, feast on some new growth grass, and I'll reintroduce them to the forest after the lambs are born. So it'll all work out in the end. Now, in the meantime, I've already been working on the honeysuckle grove over the course of the past year. They're pretty invasive here, but all the animals love to eat them. I love how red the yolks get when the chickens eat the berries, but the invasives must go. This gives me a lot of material to work with. I saw some really cute ideas on Pinterest for a cottage-style stick fence or a dead hedgerow. I've saved in my board if you've seen it. Anyway, to build it, I need a lot of sticks, as thick as my thumb or more, and tall enough for the sheep and piggies to stay trapped, but short enough for my hobbit-sized body to step over. So I'm looking for branches that'll fit that project, but also in the interim, I need to repair the current forest fence and shore up areas that Mr. Piggy had broken out of. And this is going to be quite the project, so let's get started. 95% of this woodpile is a single invasive species of honeysuckle. So in clearing this up, we're opening up the space to native species to replant and compete. Here, the sheep and I are focused on sorting out the branches into 3 piles. Large branches for posts, smaller branches a thumb thickness or greater for lacing, and smaller branches for mulching or chipping. You can use fresh branches, they bend easier in weaving the fence, but for me the honeysuckle branches are easier to work with when they've dried out a little, so I can break the masses of twigs off. I feel bad for the sheep. They see the axe, they see the saw, and they follow me into the woods begging for tree hay. But the trees are asleep and all I have is sawdust, which sometimes they also like to eat, but not today. The largest sticks, anything 2-finger widths and relatively straight, is great for our fence posts. Branches a thumb thickness or greater shall be our supporting net bits of the fence, and everything else will be firewood or chipped. A while back, I found some winecat mushrooms underneath a tree. This land is blessed with an abundance of edible forage. I like to propagate the edibles, so I made a spore slurry and spread those delicious shroom seeds throughout the garden and forest. I need to feed these mushrooms some more chips. They tend to really burn through all those chips too. It's very slow work and time intensive, but free in cost. Onto the forest fence. It's not pretty, but it does its job well. Over time, the branches will compress, collapse, and break down, adding much needed nutrients back into the soil. Mushrooms, moss, toads, and all sorts of other critters like to call this fence line home, which the chickens also like to snack on, as well as wild birds and other wild buddies. Eventually, I'm hoping to plant native hawthorns along the perimeter as part of a living hedgerow, but why hawthorns specifically? If you ever had the displeasure of running into one, it's a tree that demands personal space. Adorned with large spears on the trunk and branches, most animals don't enjoy running through it, sheep included. Not only that, they produce a delicious fruit. And as a hedge, its branches will provide our wild birds a fierce protector of their nests. So hey, who doesn't love a multifunctional fence? In the interim, back to the forest fence. With housing different species in the same area, each farm animal has their own quirks to take into account in how they approach testing these boundaries. The sheep tend to tuck their head down and push their way through. Goats, depending on age and breed, tend to hop on, over, or climb the fences. Our pigs like to bulldoze their way through. Mostly Mr. Pig, so leveraging their rooting ability to lift and squeeze under the fence. When I first started building the forest fence, Lily and Lamie acted as a duo, testing the fence, walking shoulder to shoulder along the perimeter. Lily was the brains, and Lamie, our biggest sheep, the brawn. As a team, Lily would duck her head into the branches and Lamie would join in, lifting the brushes to the side, clearing the way for the two of them to get out. And sometimes others if they were lucky enough to be nearby during their escapades. Our goats, on the other hand, enjoyed climbing the trees, on top of the fence and through wherever possible. So to combat their tendencies, I found that staggering the top line really helped. And really shoring up that net-like aspect of the branches dissuades them a lot. Mini goats are particularly difficult to contain. Personally, I'm more fond of the traditional standard-sized dairy goats. They tend to just chill more, especially as they age. With the Silvopasture setup though, I found the goats to be more difficult to keep in regards to safety, as the minis really like to climb trees, which, though cute, is very dangerous, and they were teaching the sheep those bad habits too. Maybe it's the rugged heritage aspect of the Shetland sheep, but I don't recall any of my Catalans or Barbados climbing trees, or are these sheep just weird? Our piggies are different breeds. Our Kuni is content to lounge around, graze, root, whereas our Maischen loves to run through the pasture. He tends not to respect metal fences. Even so, our forest fence has actually worked really well. In the area Mr. Piggy broke out of, I want to extend our forest fence to that area. Also, with winter coming up, I need to strengthen up some of the weak spots and refresh areas in our fence that have decayed over the year. So what I'm looking for in terms of repair are any pockets the size of a soccer ball, near sheep height. That's a weak point to me. I like to crisscross the sticks, interweaving them. It's hard to see in film, but it's sort of like basket weaving, I guess, or forming a woolen roll log and carding. When the sticks are interlocking, it makes a crude net that gives a little to press on but doesn't break. For extending the fence line, I'm picking out sticks thicker than my thumb to form the main branches or to form the main bones of the structure. Then weaving in the smaller branches to create that mesh. I really want to save the best sticks though for that cottage fence that I really want to make. I do like how the forest style fence can use odd shaped branches, twigs even, and other waste material, but it definitely lacks beauty. I have a lot of honeysuckle branches left. I need to sort out so much. I imagine there are better materials and methods though. What do you think? A lot of the work in this style fence has been the setup. It is such a slow process getting started, but the upkeep is easier. And it's free in cost. But in time, that'll get ya. So how do I tie this all together and make a multi-species rustic fence? First off, the chickens just hop all over it. I'm not going to worry about containing them. The sheep and pigs have similar enough habits in approaching the forest fence. The main thing I want to focus on is pulling out more of those post branches to give our forest fence the strength to handle a curious piggy. The sheep are pretty simple. If I make it visually messy, or not much of a window to see through to the other side, they tend to not want to touch it. The top of the fence, I'm aiming for it to have an almost staggered top line. A branch here or there poking out is a feature, not a bug. If you lean on it, it may bend a little, but overall, support your weight. We have heavy snowfall and bears. So do you think it'll stop a bear? Probably not, but could a bear break it clobbering over it? Thank you for watching, and if you made it this far, leave a sheep emoji and let me know what's your absolute favorite fence type. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and thank you so much for your support. It means a lot to me and helps support the flock. Bye!